Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, pair folks. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. It's Saturday. It's the weekend, baby. I remember those days. Oh, you spend all week working. Well, for me, one of my jobs, I only had to work 4 days out of the week. I was off on Friday, so I had a 3-day weekend. While you fools, like you say to the guys you used to work with, say, y'all, you fools are at work on Friday. I'm at home watching cartoons. So, folks, so I hope you enjoy this week. It won't be long. And there's also around the corner a holiday. It's not a real holiday. It's called Valentine's Day. Excuse me. Ha! It's a holiday for suckers. So, I just say it like that. Only person I got something for Valentine's Day was my mom. That was my woman. I owed that. So we have here's a lovely lady for me. And just last year, the Nationals, she turned pro in women's bodybuilding. She actually earned her pro card in the women's heavyweight division, competed for the overall title, didn't get it. I was rooting for her. I feel like but it's just circumstances. We have here the lovely Mrs. Kelli Larkins, IFBB pro. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on, George.
Not a problem, no problem. So thank you for your time, madam. So this is a question I ask you, ladies. What got you started in sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Oh, what got me started? All right. So my story starts way back when I was like 11, 12 years old. Just one day I saw somebody who has nothing to do with bodybuilding. He's actually a musician, and he was one of my favorite musicians at the time. And he was very like lean and toned. And I was like, I didn't know Arnold any by that time. So that guy was like the most muscular guy I've seen. And I was like, okay, I want arms like that, which is probably odd for a girl to be like, I want arms like that dude. But that's when I started. Like I just like stole my mom's weights and like snuck them into my room and would just lift that night. And I obviously didn't know what I was doing. So I was just like kind of doing biceps every day at night. And it went from there, like after my teenage years, I wasn't athletic in school or not. Like I actually failed PE and stuff because I really didn't want to do all the running around. And like that didn't appeal to me. I'm like, I did not want to run around on the court or outside or do cross country or anything. But weightlifting did appeal to me. Well, the look. And, when I got turned around 13, 14, I joined the gym with my mom, just to support her. And we had a personal trainer, and it was like on and off until about the time I turned 20. I married young, and I got married, and I was going through a divorce. We were both young, didn't know what we were doing. I was going through a divorce, and I needed something to keep my mind off of that and keep me like feeling positive. And I was driving down this road down in Miami, and I saw an advertisement for a gym, like personal training, and I just went in there. And the woman who co-owned the gym with her husband, her name is Suri. She got me into she was training me, and then just one day was like, hey, why don't you try like competing? And I knew nothing about it, didn't follow it. And she was like, let's do figure. And I was like, okay. And then I started like this diet for like 16 or 20 weeks and registered for my first show in figure. Showed up, I knew nothing. Like I didn't know about the tanning, I didn't know about the posing, nothing. I literally like just went there like all like I wasn't nervous because I really didn't know what the hell was going on or what to be nervous about. And my mom was there as my supporter. And she started like tanning me. We bought this little thing, and she was just like tanning me and all that stuff, and went on stage. And that was my first experience. And after that, I was like, I like this. And I did another show right after figure as well. I don't even remember what I placed. I was probably like 20 something. That class had a lot of women. And after that, I was like, you know what? I like this. Like, I really like this, but I want to look more muscular. And then one day I ran into who would be someone who would be my coach for several years. His name's Diego, and we're still friends to this day because I was like younger, and now I'm like 36, so it's like that friendship has been for about 16 years. He was just training me almost every day for several years, and then I did my first like bodybuilding show, sort of like I say sort of because I don't even think I looked like a bodybuilder at that time. I was all skinny, and I was like 126 pounds. and small. And yeah, and I didn't even know what I was doing there either. Like, I didn't even have a routine, nothing. And I showed up and I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna do this pose, this pose, this pose. And I just like winged it. But after that, I was like, I think I want to do this. Like, I want to get my pro card. I want to like do this and like see where I can go. And that's how I got into bodybuilding. Be it was a long time ago, and it's taken me that long to get my pro card because in between, that journey of getting my pro card, a lot of things happened in life. COVID happened to all of us. And at some point, I broke my arm and I had to recover from that. And that recovery phase, I focused on strength building instead for several years. And I went into powerlifting and competed professionally and then stopped because it was like once I started competing professionally, um, it was fun and everything, but everybody there, that was like their life, they were like all about it. And I was just there, just like happy to be there doing it. It wasn't my life. It wasn't my passion. How bodybuilding is, where I think about it from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep. And although I've always been an advocate that bodybuilding shouldn't, this sounds probably like negative. Although it is my life, like I think about it from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep, I don't think that it should be your whole life, because I have kids, I have 3 children, I have a life, I have businesses, I have all these other things that that make me. Bodybuilding is all me, where it's like if I don't, it's like achieve a goal, it's not gonna crush me. Like, with nationals, my goal is to get my pro card. If I won overall, that would have been an extra thing, but it didn't crush me. I was happy to reach my goal of getting a pro card. And I didn't even think of being overall, to be honest. Not that I was like shooting that high. It was just like, if it happened, it happened. And I would have been happier, but it didn't happen. It didn't even faze me. I was just like, oh, okay. And then I was happy for the girl who won. And, once I met with my coach was actually there. I met with him on stage. It was like everything just not winning the overall, that wasn't even in my mind. I was just so happy to be there with my coach, and then my family was there, my children, my friend, they were there. And it was just like, it was an amazing moment, like I did get emotional after, once I got to my room, because like for my first bodybuilding show, my dad was there, and my dad died a few years ago. And then like, he wasn't there for this one. And then leading up to the show, like I would have dreams of him, like being there. So that was what I got emotional about, and I'm getting emotional now thinking about it, But that's how I got into bodybuilding. Odd start, I guess. But I don't think there are any other outside influences, because like I didn't really know about bodybuilders that time. Although Arnold and everybody was obviously popular, and I started reading magazines once I started building towards getting a muscular physique. But it was always just I didn't. I never really had anybody to look. I didn't see anybody in bodybuilding per se and was like, I want to be like them, and they didn't encourage me to like, oh, I didn't look up to any idols in bodybuilding, which is, I don't know if that's odd or not, but that's just how it's always been with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not enough. Everybody's different experience with getting bodybuilding. Like for me, when I got into this was when I was younger. My brother used to play football here in our hometown. He used to lift weights. And we used to, as kids, we were poor kids, so we didn't have no fancy weights. We had cinder blocks and old logs and lifting them in the backyard. Then I got to high school myself and started lifting weights. And I remember, this was a true story. I was like lifting weights. By the time I was 16, I was doing 350 on the not the squat. It was the bench press. 550 on the squat. I had some guy ask me, say, George, you know what? He asked me this. I said, what? You ever had any? He said, no. I said, well, son, you cock strong. Because I grew up country. We had to work and farm, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And everybody's experience is different, because bodybuilding, even though the sport's been around for a long time, it's not very well known compared to if you do think about it, bodybuilding, do come think about people that stick out is Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, the Terminator, and Incredible Hulk. And what you went through, I can feel that, because I've never been in a relationship, but I knew my parents were married when young. My mother was 16 when she married my father, and they had 6 of us. And and to raise a family, responsibilities, and try to be a bodybuilder, that's a lot. We have here some people here in the comment section. I want to give him a shout out. My man KL the Wanderer, he does content also. He says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, brother. My man here, John Simpkins, coming through. He says, hey, happy Saturday, George and Kelli. I appreciate you, brother. Also, we have here some other guests here. We have here the Female Bodybuilder channel. He says, "Hey, Kelly." And say, "Wow, it's probably JB, AJ. He's he's not too internet savvy, but shout out to you, JB, for coming through." And also, we have here one more comment. And it's just from my man KL. He says this. He says, "What's it like competing with other athletes, or you just focus on yourself?"
I just focus on myself. I just listen to my coaches. I say coaches, but I have one coach for my prep, like my diet, and like in charge of my cardio, and like he knows everything that's going on about me. If I have stomach issues, if I have gas or anything like that, he knows everything. And then I have my other coach who structures my training, my weight training, based off of what areas during prep seem like I need more attention to or less. So, but I just focus on my both of my coaches. I don't focus. I have friends that are in the female category and friends that I am going to be up on stage against for like 2 or 3 shows back to back, because I do plan on competing more than once this year. And I don't. I'm like in their corner, like I'm speaking with Anastasia and I'm like cheering her on and I like her look. Like I don't. It sounds bad. I don't see them like once we're off the stage. I don't see them as competitors, and that's nothing against them. I see them as friends, people who are all chasing the same goal. Like we all want the same similar things, and we all want to make it to the Olympia. But when we're on stage, it's like okay, we're all fighting for that spot. Like we're all fighting for the same goal. But I don't focus on all of them. When I see their pictures and their stuff, like I'm like hearting it and like cheering them on.
That's good because it's good to have camaraderie. Sometimes rivalry happens in almost every sport. Right now, currently, if you saw what's going on over in the women's physique division with the current Miss Olympia and the former Miss Olympia, I'm not going to do details into that one. But it's just this is about the sport. It's of a hobby, as somebody told me. It's an expensive hobby, especially for women compared to any other the other divisions, and you have to find joy out of it and support. But again, it's always going to be issue of butting heads, different personalities, all that stuff like that. We have here, shout to my man KL the Wonder. He says this. He says, Kelly, in your duration in bodybuilding, what would you say is your best show, or just feel you had to get better?
I would say my best show would be Nationals. Um, Although my show before that was in I think 2 years before that, in October, a year and a half. I liked my hair and my suit in that one, but physique wise, I didn't do my hair for Nationals. It was just there's a lot going on and I couldn't make my appointment. I did have my appointment, so like I just went on stage just as is. But I feel that physique wise, Nationals was my best showing, and then also prep. Although George and I spoke about certain things that made that prep difficult. I felt that I my body responded the way we wanted it to respond, and I wasn't having any like stomach issues, gastrointestinal stuff going on, and it was on that end. I felt like that this past prep was the best I've had in comparison to others, because other ones I would have issues or have like stomach pain or gastrointestinal issues throughout the whole prep. And so I feel like this was my best look. But with that being said, with my front poses, I was having issues contracting my quads and getting my striations to be very visible on stage. That's where I think I need to improve. So I do have a chiropractor slash bodywork person who I've been going to now, who's helping me on that, because I had a lot of scar tissue because I didn't have any body work done during that whole prep, and it caught up to me during that week of being on stage.
That's also important to the recovery of a bodybuilder. Rest, recovery, getting some kind of physical therapy, because really what you're really doing a lot of some internal damage. So that's why, for one thing about the issue of bodybuilding is always the use of performance enhancers, and that helps in your recovery. But everybody's saying like, I just pop some magic pills, I get as big and decent as you, Kelly. I can look like I can be like Arnold. Get to the chopper. It's not a tumor. But but like I said, things in life, they happen for a reason. They either can break us or they can build us. I remember this is something somebody told me when my brother died. My older brother died, James. It's been like almost 22 years when he passed. And this was right after he passed. Somebody told me, said, George, God don't put no more than on you than you can bear. And after a while, one of my sisters passed, and my mother passed because she got sick during the pandemic. She was already sick herself because I was taking care of her. And you know what? God don't put no more on anybody can bear. And so this also I learned like this: what does not, break us, it might bend us, but it never break us. We have here a comment here. Shout out to Man K of the Wanderer. He says bodybuilding is different. Some look at it as a sport or as a pageant or lifestyle. What do you look at it as?
Honestly, a combination of both the lifestyle and the sport, because like you can't just step away from it and take one day off where you're not thinking about bodybuilding. From the moment I wake up, I have to, all right, I have to weigh myself, and then I have to go take my water, and then I have to do my vitals, and it's just this whole list of things every day. There's not a day that I wake up where I'm not thinking of anything, like where I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna lay in here and let the day go by, not eat, not take my vitals, not weigh in, not do everything that I need to do, like my cardio, my abs, because I do. Although I don't want to say I'm off season because I'm not bulking, but my calories are really high. Like I'm around like 300 grams of carbs right now, and it's still probably going to increase for a bit. But I still have cardio about 4 or 5 days a week, and I still have to keep that going to keep myself from. I'm a mixture of both when it comes to my physique, where I can lean out quick or I can gain real quick. I'm always having to gauge, like how my body is responding to our stuff. Because like there was one week where my coach increased calories, my carbs by only like 50 grams, and all of nowhere my weight shot up 10 pounds. And I think some people would notice that with my check-ins that I share in my stories. One week I'll be like 187, and then I'm back down to 173. It's like my body just spikes all over the place. So that's something I do have to regulate all year round. I can't just not think about it, because sometimes when I don't think about it, I tried this before. I lost like 15 pounds, and because I wasn't measuring my food, I wasn't getting enough food, and I thought I was just, oh, I'm full, like I'm eating enough.
Yeah, 'cause I know one thing a lot of bodybuilders, some bodybuilders do, not a lot, but some do count their macros, but you don't need to do that. Just whatever the ounces or the weight of something, that's a plan that your coach set for you. We have here a comment here. This is from the Female Bottom channel. JB here. Hey, JB, I should have guessed it was you. Also, he says this. He says, but great performance at the Nats. Yeah, because we did me, JB, and AJ did a little conversation, and I brought you up. And I said that I again, to me personally, I think you should have been overall. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to the other lady, Taylor Smunk, who won. Congratulations. I think she's planning on competing this year also, because her coach is Chelsea Dion, and your coach is Justin Jacoby. And this guy, I mean, counting yourself, Hayden Moeller, who I interviewed a while back. I interviewed Montana a couple of times. I know Casey was there, but she didn't get a pro card. But I think she's planning on doing the show later in the year.
And
That's
she's still
stable. Cause she's young. I think she's still a baby. 23 years old. I mean, still as an old-fashioned old head would tell me, still wet behind the ears and breasts smell like Similac.
Casey and I have the same coach. We were actually backstage together. We are all sharing a blanket and just chilling together. She's such a cool kid.
Yeah, I interviewed Casey. She's an amazing young lady. I hope she does get a pro card. Here again from a shot from my man here, JB, Female Body Challenge says, does Kelli has a local posing coach? So who works with the posing?
No, Justin Butterina does my posing with me. He's actually based out of, I believe he's PA. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially you're in Florida. I know a couple ladies who are posing coaches, like Jeannie Lukowski. I met her when I went to Tampa Bay a while back. We've been friends for a long time.
I actually she did my one of my routines, I think, when I was in physique. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I saw a picture of y'all together. It was like a long time ago. I'm trying to remember that. But
she actually prepped that show too. She prepped me and did my posing routine for me.
That's pretty good. I mean, right now she's planning on competing. I can't wait to see her. I mean, she last competed was at the, I think she did I'm trying to remember. Was it not the Steve Carr? I think she did the Grand Prix, if I can remember. We get here a comment here. Shout to my man here, KL the Wanderer. He says, do you tell your age, Kelli? She already did. And if you didn't hear it, you missed it. It says, the thing is, a gentleman, she told her age, but a gentleman never asked her lady's age. I'm a Southern gentleman, ma'am. I don't ask your age. It's none of my business, my concern. Because Yeah,
I'm 36. My birthday just passed in January on the 22nd.
yeah, and she's 36. She is a pretty lady, or if my other guy would say, Kelly, you know what? You are beautiful. But one question is, what is your ethnic background? You're very, androgynous looking.
Okay, so I'm indigenous, so Native American, and also Irish, hence the last name Larkins. So that kind of
Ah,
throws people off. Yeah.
sure, you're Irish and you're Native American. Oh, yeah. We have a tribe like here that's kind of mixed also. It's called the Lumbee tribe. They're a little bit of this and they're a little bit of that. In
Mhm.
North Carolina. But you're like I think the second lady that I know that who I interviewed who are well, you're the second female bodybuilder. I've interviewed quite a few ladies who are Native American, but you're the second one. You and I don't know if you know her. God, back of my head. Um, she just competed a couple of years ago. She finally made her debut. She's from Texas. God, she also I think she got a book on the Nationals also, but it popped in my head if I remember it. Here we got here. Uh,
Dylan,
hmm?
Dylan Crenshaw.
Not Dylan. Is Dylan Native American?
I believe she has like some a background, and I don't know if it's like Cherokee or Choctaw or something, but I believe that's what I heard.
No, I think the lady I'm thinking about. I know who she. Sometimes I'm pretty good with this, but I got some information in my head, so I got like, oh, this shot to my man. This is from my man JB said, oh, you had Jennifer Childress. Yes, Jennifer Childress. Yes, she's
Oh,
also
okay.
Native American, and he also this is from my man KL says I miss. She said a lot, Bozo. Well, then be aware of surroundings. This is my shit, man. Me. I put this
You
me
posted
brick
it.
by brick.
I'm gonna start at two.
Yeah. So and also my man, my JB says, yeah, she is Native American. Yes, true. And also this is from my man says she looks like she can pass Asian a bit. Yeah,
Oh, I think that's because a lot of the Native Americans, we had these thick cheek, high cheekbones, and it
yeah.
kind of makes our like features like go upward. Yeah.
Well, the history of many Native Americans are of Asian descent because if you go back to the like I think the early part before the BC era, when the
Yeah.
during everything was frozen and a lot of crossed and like from Mongolia through Canada and then everything defrosted. You have this group here, that group there, and you got that group there. It's just about it's like we're pretty much all related one form or another. Folks, while we got Kelly here, we're gonna do this. We're gonna jump.
Actually, I did one of those, genealogy stuff where you swipe. It was like saying I was like 4% Asian, but I never looked into it. I was like, it's not enough for me to claim anything.
Well, it's either like I said, somebody did something to somebody. I was thinking about taking one of those
Somebody
because
did something to somebody.
yeah, somebody did something to somebody. You never know. Hey, I'm a descendant of stolen people, and hey, I don't know what's in my DNA. So folks, while we have Kelly here, we're going to jump into her social media. If you want to follow her, links in the description. You check her out. She's also got some stuff coming up. We talk about doing the interview also. But guys, she's a lovely lady. She looks all nice here for me. It's nice. I appreciate that. And when you ladies doll up for me, it makes me feel special. But guys out there, be nice, be kind. She got kids. Be respectful. No weird shit in her DMs. Stop it. Get some help. You know. So we're gonna jump into her IG for a little bit, and you want to follow the links are in the description. And recently, she's been doing something really big, as you know. Right now, women's bodybuilding is under fire, and she's now promoting this behind the physique bodybuilding, and it is. Can you share for what it's about and the details of it?
Yes. Could you see me, or is the camera switched off? Wasn't
No,
sure.
I can still see you.
Okay, so behind the physique bodybuilding is my media page that I started up slash media company, and I had planned on if you guys go to my YouTube, there's barely anything on it anymore, and so I was like, I'm gonna work on. I keep telling myself I'm gonna work on my YouTube, give myself content, professional content. So I was saving up to have. Um, a friend of mine who's a videographer shoot professional content for me for my pro debut, but everyone, I think a lot of you who are following, George or female bodybuilding channel know, what's going on in the female bodybuilding industry and how they're pulling women's bodybuilding from certain shows and telling us it's because women aren't showing up. That's their reasoning. I decided that, instead of just investing in myself and my personal page, I was going to invest in everyone in the bodybuilding industry because I'm one of those people where I care for my friends, my people, and also like I'm used to that because I'm a part of an indigenous tribe and there's only 6 of us in the tribe, 600 of us. I don't know why I said 600 of us. And so we all see each other as family and we all take care of each other. So, there's only, from my understanding, I believe there's 60 currently active female bodybuilders who are competing at the pro level. And that's not that many women. So, it only makes sense to do something that's going to benefit or allow, benefit all of us. And so that's why I am investing myself, my time, and my resources into creating this page and starting a documentary series that I planned for it to be a seasonal thing like this year, next year. And it's going to be 8 episodes in duration. Initially, it's going to be released full length on Amazon. But I am also, after several months, it's going to be released as episodes on YouTube.
That's pretty
And
good.
it's
I
going to
mean,
follow 6 to 8 women, female bodybuilders. Now, this, I listed a casting call on our page. It's open to amateur and professional female bodybuilders. There's no age cutoff or starting age. Oh, as long as they're like, 18 or something or have parental consent. And they do have to be either planning to compete as a female bodybuilder. Let's say somebody's physique and they're doing the transition to step up on stage as a female bodybuilder. We are accepting applications for them as well. That's my focus for this season. That doesn't say I'm not open to let's say doing all physique or figure or anything, but I feel that right now my focus should be women's bodybuilding.
well, that's respectful because you know what? It's to me, women's bodybuilding. This is what really got me into this is women's bodybuilding.
Mhm.
Because you ladies, your division is the architect division. If it wasn't for that division, you wouldn't have physique, fitness. I won't say as much as when it comes to bikini or wellness or even fit model. Excuse me, when I say fit model, goes hot point because it's an offense to me. It's I have nothing against the competitors, but to me, it's
I'm
like a beat. Right?
I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you off. I'm kind of like I'm not sure what fit model is. Like I went online to because I seen some there that there are area fit model pros, but I don't know what the guidelines are or what they're looking for. Like from
Well,
the images I saw, and this means no disrespect to any of them because I don't think that there's a standard set yet. It just seemed like who's the best average person right now. I don't know if that's like the goal to be like more open to other people, and if that's the case I'm not opposed to involving other people in, bodybuilding, but I don't want that to mean like, oh, because we're opening up this new category that we have to basically kick out these other categories. Because if the idea is to be inclusive to all body types, why do you want to exclude muscular women, the very muscular women? That makes no sense to me.
well, here it is. We all know because it's not considered a very popular division. Women like yourself who have that much muscle are not seen as feminine. It's not seen as popular. And, it's like I'm like this. There's some amazing women, and some of them I got to do interviews with. Some of them I got to meet a while back. When I said while I was in Tampa hanging out, I got to meet. She was at the time number 3 in the world, but now she's number 2. I got to meet someone like here. I got to meet Ashley Jones, and she's an amazing person. I got to meet a woman like shout out to Sharonka Hinton. She's amazing. And to me, she fits the criteria of women's physique if you look at it now. And this is one I love the most. When I got to meet this gentleman here, because I was a country boy. When I got to meet this is my friend Eunice, who runs Bad Rap, and that's David Lee Roth. And that was something I probably would never got to do if I didn't go to Tampa to help my friend Eunice in her company Bad Rap. Because they're also trying to do more for women. Like she reached out to me because she said, you know what, George, you want to do something to help? I said, yeah. Oh, well, I'm helping out her because she's sponsoring the Triple O Dynasty in April, and I'm sponsoring one of the jackets. So I said, you know what, I can do that. And you are looking also. You have a GoFundMe, and folks, if you want to check it out, I will put the it's in the also the GoFundMe link is in the if you look at it, it's in the comment section of this live, and also here it is right here. You see it, so you can see it here, and also you can get it from the comment section of live. So you're doing a GoFundMe because what are you having anybody you reaching out to? Because one thing we do in like these productions, you got to find sponsors, you got to find somebody to cover the cost of this, and also what's your projection for this documentary?
My budget for the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's 40,000, actually $40,000 for the documentary, and it's high because the women who are going to be involved, as I said, we're going to select 6 to 8 women, and we are giving them we're compensating them for taking part in the series, as well as covering their competition fees associated. Fees associated. So that means like hair, makeup, tanning, suit sponsors. Like we're going to provide everything for them to step on stage. And so that they don't have to worry about that, and they're being compensated for the time. And so that is a huge part of the budget as well. Having eight women, and I'm sure you, George, know the realities of what goes in the cost that goes into showing up to compete on show day.
Because as I said, this for show day for the women is probably the biggest expense, because I say this often with the men, all they gotta do is pair on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. It's tan. That's it. For you ladies, your show day is a lot of expenses. Not just the cost of, as you know, as an amateur, going to a show, paying because you just did women's bodybuilding, you did in that one class. Some ladies would do, I think, Montana, she did both women's bodybuilding and physique.
Yeah, that right there is like a $700 thing. It's like $375 for each class. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's expense, and then the cost of your motel, your food. Then right there, one of the biggest expenses is your posing suit. Now that could be from anything from $500 to a couple $1,000. And then you have to have your hair, your makeup done. You got remember you gotta have tan, and if you have a nice complexion, you still have to have that tan to cover some of the blotches and spots that miss out.
And tanning itself was like $185, and my hair, I had the appointment, but I didn't do it. It was like $185. The makeup is $185. I did my own makeup for that for nationals, because I was like, no, I'm not gonna, because I paid $185 last time, and it looked like something I could have done myself. So like, I'm just gonna save on that end. And for the hotel, that also is a huge expense, because when you're flying out of state, you want to be there at least 3 days before to let all the inflammation, everything calm down, and to get settled in to start your peaking for the show. So that that's like around 500 to say 1,000, depending on where the show is. If it's like in a city, or if it's if you're having to fly far. And I don't know if not all hotels have microwaves or a fridge, and trying to get one that's a suite, that's an upcharge.
Yeah, I know one lady told me it was hard for her because she was in a place to have a microwave. And I know when I went to Tampa, I took a train. The train just cost me like maybe about $100. But then I had to wait 5-6 hours in Savannah before I get another train go to Tampa. Right now, I'm planning on going to a show this year again, and I'm going to go by plane. I just got to get my real ID together. I just got my birth certificate last month, and then get those stuff together, and then I can go to the next town over and go to the DMV and get my real ID. I can do a plane. It's a lot easier because I can go take a plane, blah, blah, blah. Don't have to sit in this place for a long time and stretch out on a long, hard, uncomfortable bench.
Yeah.
And and then just to do something different, get out of my own way. Because I know I remember one of my favorite old school shows with the A-Team, with Mr. T saying like, "Hey, fool, I don't want to get no plane." But you know what? It'd be easy so I can go to shows that I couldn't get to before in other ways. We have here, shout out to my man, the Female Body Channel, my man JB says this, the legend of the Balancing Crossing. Okay, yes, when everything froze up. Also, this is from man KL. You are very attractive. Do you have a lot of guys hitting on you in the gym or other places?
I'm not sure. I'm bad at taking signals. Like if people are very direct, then I'm aware, that they're like trying to interact with me beyond a casual level. But in the gym, I don't really have people speaking to me, because I think that's like when I'm in the gym, I'm kind of like I don't look approachable at all, and I'm just usually just go through my training. But online, yeah, I do have people like, wanting to take me on dates and stuff, but I don't uh entertain them because it's like,
Weird.
stranger danger. I don't know, like, I know that's bad, but it's like, I don't know you. I don't know if that's the person online is really the person who's like messaging me.
Yeah, I posted this on my. If you go to my IG, I posted this thing. I got a picture of this guy. His name is Lexington Steele. He's an adult film star, and a picture of myself. And I said like this: this could be a guy that could be sending you a link, and then you think it's him, but then it's actually a smo like myself. Because we smos like I gotta admit my crime, Kelly. We you ladies with all the muscles, you excite us. We just think y'all so beautiful. We just like, and this there it can be a bit weird with some of these guys. Like there's some lot of debate going on with a certain site called Girls with Muscle, and it's not a site against y'all ladies. It's a site about promoting women with muscle. And
Okay.
yeah, not all of it is. Yeah, not.
Highlighted recently that I saw something going online. People were sending it to me. Oh, this site has your photos, and I was like, that's been around for like 10 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's like when I like, especially when I do my interviews, I reach out. Hey, do you have any photos or pictures you want me to say? You say cool. You can use their photos. Okay, good. So I can go. I usually go to your social media, or this is a site I go to when I want to get photos because sometimes they put up the good stuff that we looking for, and like when I do my when I announce when we have an interview the day before, I put a picture so I can tell a story about who I'm interviewing, and then from you who you start to who you are now, and that's a great platform I use. They don't sell in the photos, and anybody who doesn't want to be on there, you can ask because there's quite a few bodybuilders who are not on there. It's not all bodybuilders. I've seen I talked about it where Angela Bassett's on there. There's some wrestlers, some fighters. It's because it's more about the fans of men who like women muscle. And many guys are not a fan of bodybuilding, just like women muscles. Um, Here we got a man from the female Bob Channel says, "Who does your who does the cam work?" And he says, "Also, are you open to collab?" And that's my man JB. He does a lot. He has JB Films. He does a lot of film work with a lot of you ladies. Would you be
oh, yeah,
interested?
I'm definitely open to collabing. To the question about cam work, are you talking about like my stuff on my social, like Instagram,
I think
like
so. That
myself? I have a stand. I have multiple stands. I just do that. I think you can tell nobody does the cam work there. But anything that, like, let's say I'm in the gym, and the camera's moving around. It's probably my you and George and I spoke about him. I don't know. I think we weren't being recorded yet, but my old coach, Diego, I train with him sometimes, and he'll do the camera work. Now, if we're like talking about professionally, like let's say for this series, I'm gonna be working with mainly a kid I know. I'm trying to see if he goes by an alias or not, but his Instagram is Sereno with three S's, SSSERENO. So like he's going to be doing the cam work for the documentary, and I'll be collabing with a friend, Hector. He was working with muscular development, so he's going to be helping on it as well.
Yeah, that's great. Speaking of muscle development, and also shout out to my man JB just mentioned this. He says, shout out to Bad Rap. And that's my sister Eunice, Bad Rap. As you know, the moniker is Rip and Define. Big and define, ripped and pumped. We like the rip part. And shout out
She's
to Eunice.
amazing, everything that she does. I actually
Yeah,
been conversing with her, and we're supposed to have a call here sometime in the week. I know she's like, there's things going on in her personal life right now, so but I really love like the movement that she's done, and like how she started like at the very grassroots level. Just handing out T-shirts at shows and just trying to get her name out there and collabing, and that she created this business to support women's bodybuilding. It's awesome.
yeah. Because actually, she found out I was doing an interview with you. She's really intrigued about your whole thing with your documentary. What's it's going to work with? What's the plan? If it's anything that she can probably help assist, because you know what, she really wants to promote women in bodybuilding. It's recently just put up a new IG channel, which is a IG page for women in bodybuilding. If you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you. You want to check it out? It's just started because I think they're trying to get together, try to get a coalition. It takes a
Oh,
coalition.
yes,
Yeah.
because I'm sure you're aware of it. We have this women's bodybuilding group going on where a lot of us on the pro side are in the group chat. And that was something that we collectively were like, we need this page that is biased for us, and like, that we're in charge of the content going on it. And I believe Chelsea Dion had created it and, gave the link, and then various women have access to it to post what they want on the page.
Yeah, it's like this. You have to come together. Like one of my old school movie called Soul Food, where it says, you know what, when you like this is like a hand, but we come together to fist, you can make a mighty blow. Everybody has to be united, stand together. Also, shout out to my man JB, because this point too says, more income, just more income. Just got to bring in the money, and you got to find people who want to sponsor the shows and the women. We have here my man DJ Jeff. Shout out to him. He says, "Hey, you look beautiful. How do you manage your three kids?" You know, you say she can't get the kids. How old are your babies?
All right, so how do I manage? Okay, so I'm doing this interview because I have no kids at home right now, so that's how I can manage this. And if not, you guys would be hearing. I think I did one interview where my daughter was like yelling in the background, and I'm just like, but so my youngest is 7, who's going to be 8 here soon, and my other two are there's a huge age gap. One of my oldest is going to be 22 here soon, and then my middle child is going to be 19 here in like 2 months or so. Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
they're very chill. They're kind of like me, where we're just like introverts and just very chill. And so, they honestly have their own lives. Like they both, my older two already, they moved out once they turned 18. They have their own places, their own jobs. My youngest one is a handful. She like equals like 5 children. She's crazy. Um, she's like the total opposite of my two older children. Like she's whatever you think that children would do to hurt themselves, she's done. Like she stuck a fork in the socket. She's done this. Like she's done everything. And I'm like, dude, it's like a whole job just to keep you alive. Like,
I can tell you, we were growing up. I had three older sisters. There was my older brother James, my younger brother Larry, and I grew up with my two older nephews. And we jumped out of barns and ran in the woods and played in fields. We were boys. We did boys things. My sisters, they did girl things, like like my older sister Betty. She was the oldest out of all of us, and she was like, when I was coming up, people thought she was my mother because they say this. They told my mom one time, said, "You were too young when you had her, but too old when you had your last two," because she was like 36 by the time she had her last child. But yeah, children can be a lot. They love and care for you. It's good that your two oldest one are out there in the world, being adults. I lived my mother most of my life. I stayed with my sisters on and off here and there, but I never stayed too far off my mom because and your baby, that's your baby. That's the thing. The baby's a spoiled rotten. I'm a middle son. We had to fight for our love. I know I can feel your Mill's heart because you know what? The oldest is the pride of the family. That's dad's firstborn. And baby's the
yeah,
last one. That's mama's baby.
my end. Yeah.
Yeah. At the middle, we had to fight. We got to fight. We like, mama, I used to say this to my mama, ain't I a man, mama? Ain't I a man? She said, no, you my baby. I'm a man, mama. I'm a man. So, here we got here a comment from my man here. Shout out to my man, Jeff. He says, how do you see the documentary? Well, right now, it's not in progress just yet. She's still working on it. It's going to take some time. And once
Yeah,
it's
we're doing
done, yeah, yeah, it will let you know. Also, we got here from a man, JB, says, maybe I fix her web shop. Okay, yeah, reach out to JB. He's good at that stuff. He's been doing it for a long time. If you follow Female Body Channel, yeah.
So back to how can we see the documentary? So we are currently in a casting phase, and I'm leaving casting open until the 28th of this month to give women enough time to think about it and see if they can commit to the series. And another thing that I've been asked that I did not list on there was that in the casting that we asked that women who are going to be joining the casting, putting their hands in to see if they get chosen, to have a show in mind because the series is going to follow women during their competition prep, what they go through, the life that they live, and just their whole story. So you're going to have various views of prep coming from different competitors, at the pro level, the amateur level, different backgrounds. Some women have children, some women don't, some of them are young. And, Casey is somebody that I had in mind. It's not set in stone yet, but, someone around her age and who can relate to the younger crowd who are getting into lifting and, they don't know what goes behind it and what it requires. I think that she or someone around her age, would definitely be great for the series. And once the series is done, we're done with editing and have everything up and ready to distribute. We're gonna release it on Amazon first, so you can find it on Amazon.
Yeah, I interviewed a young lady who was she's going to do nationals, but she dropped out. She got sick. Her name is Haley May, and she's also a young lady. She's also in Florida. She's like 27. She's married. She runs a gym. She sells cookies on the side. She's planning and hoping she can get a pro card this year. She wants to make her pro debut in women's bodybuilding. She also competed in the same show with Dylan, where Dylan got her qualification for nationals. They both debuted that same show the same year, last year. We have here, shout to my man here. DJ says, I see Kelly something on your shirt. Uncle Dan Wolfpack, is that
Oh, yes.
related to North Carolina?
No, no. So Uncle Dan's Wolfpack, you can find his page on Instagram. It's a friend of mine. Daniel runs this nonprofit foundation that he gives back to his community. He's located in New York, and it's almost like a what do you call that? Like Boys and Girls Club. He gets people into lifting, and they don't have to like pay, and he supports them if they're going to compete in powerlifting or whatever their sport is. And he sent me sweaters, tracksuits, and stuff for nationals that I wore, during that week, and I still wear it every day, honestly, like to the gym and everything. He's an amazing guy, very selfless.
hmm He says this. He says this. He said, I think he was talking about the whole thing about the. He said, this is a cool idea. Yeah, I appreciate that. Also, this is from my man JB. He says this. Sorry, got a busy CUOG. Kudos, Kelly. And he says also, great work, Kelly. Say out to the Female Body Channel. Thank you for support. You can check them out. They will happy to maybe help you out. Also, we have here a comment from my man DJ says, "What would be interesting to watch because I have a podcast about music and people that are admiring." Okay, yeah, cool. And also, he says this. Shout out to my man DJ says, "I agree about the idea about getting younger guys and girls to get into muscle." Yeah, because here's the thing is that to go back to the idea, men we can have muscles, but even though I don't have them like I used to, because I got all this around me now, you see, but it's about this thing about understanding bodybuilding is about the consistency, following the being patient, being persistent, and you've been doing this for a good while, and also raising children. You had, now you got a couple of the grown, especially when you were teenagers, they're like you have to beat them down, like my mom used to do us, you have to beat them down, and finding this sport, like working with guys like Justin Jacoby, who's a pretty good coach from when I talked to him. He has a stable. I met a couple of his clients. Met April Cosmato when I went to Tampa, and like keep talking about Tampa because that really was a year where I really blew up because of that experience. For you, what do you feel like really drives your passion for the sport? Like most people wouldn't want to do with this, like the dieting, the working out, the training, and then just it's just not much to it. It's not because it's not like any other sport we can really make a living off of.
No, it isn't, and that's a shame. I mean, unless you're like one of the top guys, then yeah, you can make a living off of it because you see their YouTube and they're just like, it's like their job is just lifting and eating and doing that while wearing their brand stuff. Where if you see women bodybuilders or even like physique, it's like they're cooking their meals, they're doing everything, they're taking care of their children, they're taking care of their husbands, they're taking care of everything having to do with the house, and then still trying to focus on what makes them feel like themselves, what makes them happy. And like, so there's a huge, there's a huge gap in me to like pay there, and huge. And it's what I would say, like what drives me, and I think a lot of women, is that bodybuilding, let's take away the competitive part of stepping on stage, bodybuilding, living a lifestyle and doing something for yourself, that that is very fulfilling, because when you're helping take care of everyone else in your household, through children, let's say you have a husband, boyfriend, and I know that, people are like, oh, like your man should be taking care of you, but then a lot of us are very nurturing women, like we're gonna, you know cook their meal, we're gonna, make sure the house is clean, or all these other things. And we have that motherly, like caring side to us. And although we're taking care of everybody else, it's like, what do I have that is my own identity, not mother, caregiver? And like female bodybuilding for me is that, it's like where I can be myself, where this is Kelly, this is, who I'm allowed to be away from my family. I get to feel all of my emotions because, when you have children and everything, a lot of times, like, you need to, like, learn how to manage your emotions, whether you're sad, upset, things like that. Because, it's not fair to for your whole family to feel all of that. So you have to regulate it and not lash out at them, not let, all that stuff. So for me, bodybuilding is my outlet, one, to go through my emotions, to feel things, to uh, process them in a healthy manner, and then make sense of them. And like, okay, this is it. This is what I was feeling. This now it makes sense. I'm not, like, I rationalize things, and then I'm more productive with bodybuilding. And it also translates to you see it in my businesses. And I say businesses because I have an airboat company and a touring company. And then I do not promote this at all, but I also have a food trucking company, and that makes no sense because I don't cook anything healthy there. But I really enjoy cooking for other people. For me, I'm like, I'll eat this raw. I don't care what the presentation is. But and then also we have Behind Physique, and also I have a project with my mom that is a philanthropic project where we're working on restoring the deer population here in South Florida. So I have all these other things that going on where bodybuilding is strictly just for me. And I had expressed to you, I don't think everyone saw this because I think we're offline, where I have like a self-image problem or self-worth, where things I've been through in my life made me feel lesser than, and bodybuilding helps me keep my value to me. I'm like, okay, you are worth everything, despite how people have treated you and what they've done or anything. Like, no, like, just F them. Like, you got this. You're doing all this stuff, and you have the strength to do all this and overcome all of this. And it keeps me on, progressing, and not sitting and ruminating on things that have happened in the past, or, how people have made me feel,
Yeah.
have made me feel. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, bodybuilding can be a sport that really can help you when you go through some mental issues. Like, I'm talking to ladies who have dealt with either addiction with food, abuse of, victims of violence, and just they find this as a way to help their mental state, help their
Yeah.
mind going through the stress of anything. And it's something that you said, and when you and your mom are doing, that's pretty good, helping the deer. Quite a few. I'm not too fan of deer because sometimes they might run across the road, especially this time of year. You're like, yeah. And also the boat airboat thing. Wow, I know because you're in Florida, and you're right there in the marshes like that. What's that
Yes.
like? How long y'all been doing that?
It's been over 15 years. Yeah. Over 15 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
It's
cool. I
I
mean,
don't know. I don't know how it's like because I've lived it, but like from the outside view, everyone's like, "This is so cool. This is badass." Like, da da da. I'm like, okay. To me, it's just like another form of transportation because I'm used to it. But we own our own island out there, and we have a traditional Indian camp, a Native American camp on there. And I'm saying Indian.
wait, I know.
I'm not
You say
offended
that.
by what people call us. It's Indian, Native
Don't worry
American.
about it. Don't worry. You're not from India. It's something. It's something that the white man put. Like they call
Yeah,
us.
they call
They
us
call
Indians.
us. They
Yeah.
call us. African Americans. I have a genetic trace to Africa. I'm black. Only person that was African American. It was Barack Obama, the greatest president in the world. I love him. He was African American because his father was African. My descendant is way, way down the line because
Mhm.
my family were sharecroppers. We worked the land. We worked for white people. We did that. I can understand your viewpoint of it. We sometimes we those it's just those things, it's habits to break, especially traditionally. Here we got here comments here. These guys, hey Kelly, I'm like this. When I get a new girl in here, guys, be like crazy. Joy's got a new girl. She fine as a motherfucker. They be like, want to talk to you. And he said, this is from my shout out to my man here. My man DJ says, I love the way that you could a spokesperson for abilities. Yeah, thank you, brother. Also, he says this: manage your emotions, playing jazz music, classical music, watching this cool channel, like and subscribe to this channel. Appreciate that, brother. And also, he says this. He says, I would come to food truck if it's in North Carolina.
Oh, so the food truck is actually a hot dog food truck, not like boring ass old hot dogs, but I create like craft hot dogs. Or I have this one called forgot the Gold Rush. Okay, so I have homemade cornbread that I pile on top of the cornbread, and then I deep fry jalapenos in a wet batter that has various Creole seasonings in it. And I make homemade honey bourbon and top that with honey bourbon and butter. And it's like crunchy, sweet, it's so good. And the hot dogs aren't like small, they're like huge. So definitely not healthy, but it's very creative and it tastes good. I eat them. I'm vegan, so like vegetarian. So like I eat it with a vegan dog. So it probably doesn't taste like what the real thing tastes like, but it tastes good as a vegan dog.
I'm country man. I gotta eat meat. I can't. There's no substitute. I grew up eating meat. I can't give it up. It's hard to let it go. It tastes good. I used to work. One of my jobs I used to work at was a food processing company. It was called Smithfield. If you heard of it, they do a lot of the pork around here, and I worked there for a long time. I've seen some things and done some things, but I still eat it because hey, it tastes good. I grew up on that. But yeah, that's surprised being
like, does it offend you that, can we go to a restaurant that has meat? And like, I don't care what you eat. Like, that doesn't bother me. What you choose to do is your thing. But, like someone was asking about vegan and being a vegetarian, whether there's a difference. So like, I'm vegetarian. So that means like, I don't eat meat, but I will eat a byproduct, which is like, milk, cheese, things like that. Cause I eat Greek yogurt and I eat a lot of cheese, I eat butter. But I just don't eat meat. And vegans are like, we can't have anything to do with animals, like no meat, no byproducts. Even fat, like that you cook with. But I'm not on that level, and I'm vegetarian because I've had digestive issues all my life, and this was about my timeline is probably a little bit skewed, so don't take it as like she said this, but then she said this in this podcast. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago that my whole body just shut down on me, and I actually had to go to the hospital. Like I couldn't walk, all that stuff, and they're saying that my body wasn't breaking down the proteins or anything that I was ingesting, and it's having issues like digesting the meat proteins. And I don't have a gallbladder. I have like portions of my intestines removed and all that stuff, and like I've just always had issues with eating stuff, but I eat them like even though it hurts. And when I say it hurts, like I would eat something and then 20 minutes later, my body would I'd just be cramping, things like that, or like I'd end up like needing to vomit. Like I can't eat eggs because like I started once I would eat them, I would just start vomiting everywhere. So like there are things that my body just doesn't like anymore and can't process. So that's why I don't eat meat anymore because it wasn't worth the pain of having to deal with that on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know one thing. I try to cut back on my dairy. I don't drink milk anymore. I just try to. I still eat cheese, but then it doesn't. It doesn't love me like it used to when I was younger. And yeah, it's yeah. I've interviewed a couple ladies who also are vegan bodybuilders. And that thing is that many bodybuilders need meat to help that protein. And you can find substitutes like tofu or there's other substitutes for it. And there's also certain vegetables that have protein in it and high fiber. People say I like eating animals with faces, but you eat potatoes, they got eyes. You eat corn, they have ears. So you kind of eat a piece of a face. This is from a man, Jeremy Remo. He also runs his own channel called A Female Muscle. Says, what is the difference between being a vegan and a vegetarian vegan, or are they just segments of each other? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she always,
That's why I highlight. I talk on the vegan and vegetarian topic.
yeah, she already explained a bit, so brother, and also just from the DJ, you should have a DJ hot dog, vegan hot dog, all veggies, with some honey, bourbon, and butter. Well, I'm country, so I'm gonna eat your cornbread. So so
Oh my god, they used to say that in school. I'm like, I didn't know what it was at first, and I was like, what's it? I was like in like third grade when I figured that out. I was like, oh my god.
oh yeah, that's from a classic movie, Life. Like one of my favorite comedians, when Bernie Mac, says like, "Osby's the pappy." There's also this one way Bernie Mac said this years ago about when people don't like you. This is we said like this. This is from a movie called House Party. He said, "Son, if people don't like you, fuck them. You do what you got to do and live what you want to live." Shout to this is Gus. He says, "Possum meat, George? No, I had some raccoon, I had some rabbit, and I had some deer, but never ate possum. Like I said, my family, country."
No possum. Like I'm just thinking about them. Like they just don't seem clean.
Well, raccoons are kind of clean compared to if you look at it.
No possum. I was thinking possum, not raccoon.
Well, hey, I know crap. I never had possum. I know I had some raccoon before. Had rabbit, had deer. I mean, one time my brother shot a bear, And mom told him, get all that bear meat out of the deep freezer. I ate duck, because hey, it's meat. Especially we come up where you couldn't always go to the stores, couldn't afford it.
No, of
I remember,
course.
yeah, I remember my older sister told me a story. This was like when they were very young. I have an older brother. My father has a son. I have a half brother. He's the oldest out of all of us, and he's had this little pig. It was a runt. So he brought it to my brothers and sisters, and they took care of him. This is before I was born. The pig became a real big hog. So when they come for school, they went where the pig is. He had a name. They used to play with the rider with him. And then mom said, well, they didn't say anything. So they're having dinner that night. And they asked my sister and them asked where the pig. Said, you're eating them. She said she couldn't eat pork for 6 months. But she was 6 months. Here we got here, shout out to my man. DJ says, I had heard of Smithfield Farms. Yeah, I used to work there for quite some time. Also, this is from my man here. DJ says, I think eating all the veggies are important. Yeah, because I think it's good for you. But like I said, some people still like to eat meat. Also, we have here my man, the art of female muscle. My man Jeremy says, wishing you all the best of luck with behind the physique. Will be interesting to see who will make the cut to on the show, be on the show. Yeah, we can't wait. Also,
Yes.
we have
I
here.
posted on the site. Oh, sorry. I posted on the site that we're going to be releasing who is our first athlete chosen for the series on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, can't wait to it. So back to the one thing we see back in the background. We see that pro card. What was that
Hmm.
feeling? Because you when you because like the last couple of times nationals, the numbers have been low when it came to win bodybuilding. But when I watched it, I saw counting the light heavyweight, and the heavyweight division. I saw at least 12 women, and then you were the one because in women's bodybuilding you only get one pro card, and you just do the nationals. He was the overall champion. I mean, you just do overall. He was become champion. What was that feeling for yourself when you became an IFBB pro?
When it first, oh, okay, when I was on stage, I don't know if you guys have like a clip of it. I think there was a moment where I just stood there for a bit because I didn't even know they called me. I know that sounds bad. I was like, what does that mean? They said my number and my name, and it just, the reality hit me. And I, uh, I was just like, my coach is in the crowd and I can hear him. Like, you can hear Jacoby over anything, usually, even on a live stream. And I just hear him, and then I was just like, I think I like did some kind of hand movement to him, kind of like, you did it. And then I was just, I was like, I don't say it was surreal, but I had so many emotions, and like I was feeling like I was gonna cry, but I didn't. Like I was like, no, like I'm not gonna have anything streaming on live stream like down my face. And then I was pretty happy because I told you how like my dad was at my first amateur bodybuilding. I don't know if it's even recorded or anything like that. Like I don't know if it was a legit bodybuilding show or what, but like he was at my first one, and it was like, he passed a few years ago, and then being at this show, like he was in my mind and everything because my first show was him. And then um I was just like having dreams of him during, that the peak week of bodybuilding, and how he was telling me that he was proud of, of me being there and things like that. And then like I just, all that was going through my mind while I was on stage when, when I realized that I won my pro card finally. And it's awesome. And like saying that there were so many this year, like because last year when I looked at the lineup, there were not that many women. And this year it was like everybody decided to show up, and winning amongst everyone who decided to show up for my pro card, that like validated that I belonged, in bodybuilding. And I did try physique because like if you go on my page, there are a lot of photos where people think I'm in wellness or physique or something. Like I don't exactly fit that bodybuilding body WBB category mold. Like I'm not bulky all over or anything. But so Jacoby and I decided to like, hey, let's try physique and bodybuilding and see what the judges feel you are. And I felt that personally, I've always felt in my mind that I'm a female bodybuilder, not like any other class. And division. And it just like verified for me that okay, bodybuilding is where you need to be, where you have to be. This is like, where you belong. And that's why I decided, okay, I'm going to make my pro debut this year. I'm not going to take a whole year off. And I made that decision because in my mind, I always thought that wasn't big enough. And once I got my pro card, I realized like I shouldn't have that mindset where I always have to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and distract myself with focusing on that. I should have the mindset where I'm going to show up, I'm going to be more improved. You know, I like my shape the way it is now, although I do feel that, as we discussed with my quads, that I need to work on the issue that I've been having where I can't connect with it well to flex, and because of the scar tissue that I have. And I think that also maybe bring up my back a little bit more detail, that I have a good base, and I don't think I need, because I'm 180 something pounds right now, and I don't think I need to get any more bigger than that. I just need to fine tune my physique and improve detail wise. And I believe that, you know, my coach and I can do that given the time that I have. What is it, 6 months until my next showing? And, you know, just try to focus on that, not try to focus on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because I feel like if I keep doing that, I'm gonna lose that aesthetic appeal that, you know, I have, where people wonder if I'm in physique or from this or that. They're like, oh, you don't look like every other competitor. And I've always, you know, I've always had a love and hate relationship with that, because I want to feel like a bodybuilder, but then at the same time, like, I'm happy that I can relate to other women, or women can relate to me, because I'm not the average female bodybuilder. Like, I don't always look up like a bodybuilder when I'm not pumped. You know, I look kind of like, well, I don't want to say average, but I look very like
Feminine.
feminine. Or I don't want to say not feminine, like the other women aren't feminine, but I feel like a lot of women who are in bodybuilding are like, oh, like, I didn't know female bodybuilders look like this when you're not on stage. You know, like, you look kind of like, you know, like us.
Wait, like I said again, you're an attractive woman. I'm not gonna lie to you, ma'am. I'm a gentleman. I'll tell you, lady, attractive, you know. And one person that really sticks out to me, and I think she's the epitome of your division, and that is Andrea Shaw. Oh, she is. She's just so. I know I had to wait for this because I'm a fan of hers, and this is what I often say like this. It's my favorite saying, like, doing this content and getting to talk to you ladies, and also you supporting my content. And often like this, I have a saying. I go like my other guy says, when you're good at something, you never do it for free. And my friend Eunice, when she was at the Olympic back in 2023, when Andrea was there, she got me this issue of muscle development. Yeah, I know I need to put it into a case or something, but I love it. I look at that, call it George. And what makes it special for me, especially as a content maker, especially about you ladies, be it we're in bodybuilding, physique, or whatever division, when the champ tells me she appreciates what I'm doing and thanks you for my support.
Oh, wow.
Because that is something, you know, when she takes time. I actually saw her do a guest pose in Savannah, was my first show I went to back in 2022. And, you know, and one lady I met she should be doing women's bodybuilding. I know you know her. They call her Dr. Meg. They call her Megan Morrison. And this chick, they say she's right now sitting at 200 pounds off season, and she's doing women's physique.
Oh, wowzers. What's your screen name, Instagram handle?
It's Dr. Meg.
You know. Megan Scooby Health or Scoop Health?
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh, yes. She and I chat here and there. Yeah, she's like 5'8", 5'9", something. She's super. She's taller. She's like an inch taller than me. And yeah, she's 200. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how she looks on stage. But I can kind of relate to that as well, because when people hear that I'm 180 and in my off season I was like 207, like a presentable 207. It wasn't like, you know, like crazy, like letting myself go. But like, we're a little bit taller than a lot of the women on stage, and I have long limbs and she does, and we're like lengthy women. That 180 to 200 pounds looks different on us than other women. So I think that she's gonna look amazing in physique, but I don't know how long she can be there.
Because you know what, this is where I talk about how the lines are blurred. When physique came in, like it's been almost a good 10 years or more. And you know, I know when I talked with Janine, how when she was competing, she was doing women's bodybuilding, told her to go down, and then a lot of ladies went down. I knew quite a few ladies went down to women's physique, from women's bodybuilding to women's physique, and it changed the look of the division. Like the judges, like they tell you they tell bigger competitors you want to be bigger, but then the thing is, you shouldn't be bigger. You should be more more cylinder, more small in the
Yeah.
waist, wider in the back, full in the shoulders. I'm seeing figure girls who should be doing physique. As you know, I talked about Ashley. She was figure, but she went to physique, and now she went to women's bodybuilder. She's number 2 in the world. It's just that someone needs to really like. I think one thing what really could help with bodybuilding if we push these women. I understand some of them want because I don't want to get any bigger, but right now, if you train as hard, put on the size, and look as big as like if you weigh more than the champ on off season, then you should be reconsidered if you really want to stay in that division much longer. It's just how your body grows and how it develops. We have a comment. Shout out to my man Jeremy for sticking in here for the Art of Female Muscle podcast. Says you said this was going to be a platform for women body media. Are there any after other projects under the behind the physique umbrella in the works in addition to the documentary series?
Yes, actually, there are other projects. One, a lot of our budget, 40K of it, is going towards this documentary series. But also, we are going to be collabing with other female bodybuilders who, I'm receiving these casting applications. I'm still keeping them, not just for this series, but in mind for the page where we're going to be creating quality content with my videographer for them, and they're going to be highlighted on their page. And how this page is going to be unique is one, I said I want to get back to the women of bodybuilding. How I am setting it up is that I'm working with Brand Champ right now, like working out, trying to see how we can set this up where usually brands set up Brand Champ to for their affiliates or sponsored athletes to check in, and whenever they're doing a post for the brand, they have to put in that URL or a picture to prove that they're posting, and then you accrue it like certain amount of points, and then you get a payout cash wise, and that cash can fluctuate. You can get like 150, 500, 1,000 within that that month or whatever. For myself, for our brand, we're going to be working with the women who are on this page. Once they do content for us, they're going to be receiving almost like a form of royalty, how artists receive money for the content they create. For the lifetime of that content it's on, we're utilizing it, they're going to be receiving money. And that's going to be a percentage off of net of what the page is making. They're going to be receiving a percentage of that. And I think that this system that I'm creating is it's going to be a changer. And I don't think some sponsors are going to like that, or some brands, but I want to change how things are and give the women more value, give them a platform where they can create. They're in charge of how they want to be presented. The content that we're making, that I am going to collab with, they're going to be in charge of how they want to shoot, what they're going to wear, how they want to be presented. And, I'm giving them full reins on that end. And then we're posting the content. The plan for the page, the idea of it is to show female athletes, women athlete bodybuilders, and I'm gonna eventually open up to like the less muscular categories, but that you don't just have to be over sexualized on every page. You can people are going to be attracted to strong females, whether when you have your clothes on, have your clothes on, and you get to create your storyline, what you want people to know about you.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that people don't think, especially everyday person, don't think that women with muscle are very attractive. And like I said again, you're attractive. There's quite a few ladies very attractive. It's like anything; it can be easily fetishized because as men, we see something different compared to the everyday person. You look at you think of who is the most beautiful woman right now on television. I'm thinking of somebody I saw recently, Angelina Jolie. She's still attractive. Halle Berry is one of my favorites. And people like yourself or Chelsea or Andrea, and also quite a few others who have a great look to them. That's why I didn't talk about this. I have to do a podcast on Muscle Talk Mondays where maybe we should push more to women who are very more aesthetically pleasing. I know there's some women who are not as what best way to say, there's some handsome ladies in the sport, but it's about promoting, and social media is very important because everybody has it. It's both a tool and a weapon. It can hurt, it can be an issue. Some people are not comfortable being on social media, but the thing is, things have changed. Like it used to be, you can watch television. Like bodybuilding used to be on television. I used to remember it used to be on networks like ABC and NBC. Used to be on ESPN. Now, David, we talk about this. You did an interview with David, and he mentioned it also. Shout out to my brother David. You can go check his interview with her on the channel if you're about informed. And it's just that it's a platform that's used in the process to get attention. But you have to use it in a way where it promotes you, promotes your company, promotes your brand, and also these ladies have to personally get out of your own way, get out of your own issues or your own little problems when it comes to this. Because if you don't promote yourself. And the thing is, it's about promotion. And if, people want to say, "What do you have to offer me?" Or want you to be on this, because this is you can deal with a lot of these people. They're gonna tell you that because this is sports not very popular. Back in the day, there was one of the biggest documentaries for women's bodybuilding was Pumping Iron 2. That starred Beth Francis, Carla Dunlap, and also Ricky McLeish. Then there was Supersize C with the late Joanne Thomas. Then there's now I think Chelsea did a documentary with Erica Deer a while back. I posted one thing from a documentary that was from the it's on my IG. It's from Vice Sports, where they had ladies from 2016 Rising Phoenix. And Rising Phoenix was one of the shows that gave a place for women bodybuilding after they got kicked out of Olympia, kicked out of the Arnold. We have here a comment from my man Jeremy. Shout out to him. He says, "As a vegan, what have you found to be quality sources of proteins when it comes to fruits and vegetables?"
Fruits and vegetables, quality sources of protein. All right, so I'm like not the best on that because I don't eat a lot of fruits. Various fruits. I stick with raspberries, blueberries, and papayas, and sometimes pineapples because, like, they have metabolic advantages. So I eat them peri-training for that, for digestion and stuff. But I don't really go out of that, and I don't look to fruits for protein sources. And read to vegetables. I'm limited in what kind of vegetables I can eat because my coach doesn't want me eating vegetables that are going to interrupt my digestive tract, like bloat me or cause any issues. So I normally just eat asparagus. What else? Some
Broccoli.
peppers. Not too much broccoli, and because it gets me gassy and stuff. And no Brussels sprouts or cauliflower. And I eat onions, but I have to limit them. And so leafy greens. I'll do leafy greens. That's about all I eat vegetable wise, like strictly vegetable. But in for my protein, I do eat tofu, but the source is usually fava beans and mushrooms. Like, I use Big Mountain because they're soy free, but that's something I have to look out for, like not having a lot of soy products. So I choose soy free tofu.
Yeah, fava beans. Last time I heard it, I had a sister tested me once. I used little fava beans and I can't tell you. That it works. We have here comment from my man Kelli. I wonder. He says, "I think she knows she's attractive by a lot of guys." Okay. He says this. He says, "She pays you no mind." Well, brother, she's here talking to me. She's not talking to you. She's with me, not with you. So you better chill out. He's a hater. He's my brother. I love him, but he's a hater. He hates. He can't hate no more. Shot here to my man KL again. He says, "Take it back to women's physique in Women's Physique World magazine when they were dressed or bikini while flexing." Yeah, that's that's the thing. It's a way to get attention, but everybody's gonna have a different process. Also, my man KL says, "At least you taking a step, Kelli, into putting women's bodybuilding out there." Yeah, everybody's playing their part, especially what they're doing with the new IG account. But again, it's about reaching out to the people who want to sponsor. That's why I say, you guys out there, if you're interested in sponsoring her, supporting her, the links in the description on live stream. When we reach out to her, you have a plan that really particularly works in her process. Reach out with genuine interest. So this is something I asked you, especially being a vegan, and you can't eat everything. Especially as I'm a fat man. I like food, Kelli. So tell me, Kelli, where's that thing that you wanted the most? That thing is, I would say, that thing make you stranger, but make you stronger. Ha 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 ha
What do I crave
ha.
or something?
Yeah.
What do I want the most?
Yeah.
I don't have crazy cravings. Like after the bodybuilding show that at Nationals, I had a Caesar salad and a key lime cheesecake. That's all I had. Like that's usually I like Caesar salads. That's my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
then
probably not. You're like, what? A salad? Yeah, no. I was like, yeah, no. I really wanted a salad. But like in Rita dieting and stuff, like being a vegetarian, like I don't eat like kind of like your basic bodybuilder diet where it's like steamed fish and asparagus and you're just eating the same thing every day. Where my coach Jacoby was like, "Hey, I'm going to give you these macros. Just hit them. I don't care what you eat." So I was eating bagels, cheese, butter. The peak week, I was loading up on sliced bread and butter the whole time. I was seldomly cooking. That's all I was eating, all just to peak to step on stage. It was probably like the most non-bodybuilder diet ever. If you saw me eating there, you're like, "What the fuck? You're about to step on stage and you're just eating loaves of bread and butter." And that's how my prep has been. It's just been bagels, peanut butter. What else was I eating? I eat Greek yogurt, whipped cream, a lot. I eat a lot of whipped cream on my stuff. So I think I eat good. Like, I'm not like deprived or anything, or like, just eating fishy, smelly stuff the whole time. I'm eating good stuff. I really
Well,
like myself.
well, everybody's process is different when it comes down to, some ladies love a nice lean piece of meat. Some like a nice little piece of bread with some peanut butter on it. Because everybody's different. Like I said, you were dealing with your issues because of your gut issues, and that was
Mhm.
important for you to find something to eat your process. But then you have your baby at home, and I know she ain't gonna be. Is she a vegan also? Is she a vegetarian?
It's everything. She eats really well. She eats salmon fillets. She eats octopus. She eats everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, and your other two, I know they like, Mom, we like to have something. We don't want to be eating radishes. We like a little something to eat. Give something like a chicken, a turkey, or something like that. Because
They love steaks, hibachi, hot pots, and everything. But they're used to me living this way, dieting since it's been what, over 15 years now. So, you got to learn to have a family, and like nobody needs to eat the way you live. Live the way you live. Like I never understood why people were like, "Oh, you can't eat that in front of me." It's like, dude, you're choosing to do this. Learn how to fucking deal with yourself and control yourself. Let everybody else live however they want to live.
I know a lady. I got to meet her when I was in Tampa. I keep bringing Tampa because it's still a great day. A great trip to go to. I did interview Christine Ware, and she told me a story how she loves to bake, and even when she's on prep, she's baking cakes and cookies. She has a husband and a daughter at home, and she make them eat them, and she watch them eat them. And I think it's about control. Because the thing is, that's the point about being a bodybuilder, having some control. Because prep can
Yeah.
be the worst part of it, especially when you are everybody around you is eating something you can't eat it because it can hurt your process.
Exactly. Like I love baking. I'm a baker. I'm not so much into cooking, but I love baking. And being having a food truck, I do bake for it, and I make desserts for it as well because I we have a key lime cheesecake, that dessert that I always have available for people. And doing making all the recipes for the dogs and everything. I'm cooking that on a daily basis, and it's nothing like you're being in control of yourself. Like once you master that, nothing affects you. You don't crave or anything. Like there are times where I'm like, "Oh shit, I think I need to eat." Like my hands are starting to shake, but it's not like I'm so tempted. But by seeing this stuff, it is a bit like you feel good about it, having control over things that you normally didn't have control over. Uh, in the beginning when I was younger, let's say when I started when I was 20, yeah, that was challenging not living that way and going out places and seeing my family eat and stuff. And I would be there at the restaurant with just my little Tupperware. And that was very challenging where when I was trying to get back into a normal lifestyle after competing, I felt like I had not full on had an eating disorder, but was like having issues with not binging here and there, and then like it stopped because like my friend slash coach at the time was like, "No, you have to have balance. Go eat. Like, don't feel bad if you go have a cake with your family. Have some fucking balance." And once I started learning how to have balance and not cutting myself off from everything, that's when it was just like I gained um, more control over myself because I'm like, if you have a slice of cake, that's not going to set you off. You've been doing years of work, and it allowed me to gain more control over myself. Now I don't have desires to do that unless like my coach is like, "Hey, you deserve this. Go eat a cake. Go do that." And so like I went and had my salad and my cake, and I didn't feel bad about it. There's no reason to feel bad about it.
We should feel bad. That's the thing about bodybuilding. The lifestyle can change because sometimes when you get to it, things can change in your life, like your friendships, the way you live, because it's such a extreme sport. You take up a good part of your life. You can't go out to a bar and drink. You have to be in bed at a certain time. You have to wake up, get ready, work out because you have businesses. You still have a child to take care of. You have to find that balance. And also be smart other things and also enjoy life because life is precious. You should enjoy that piece of cake and have a little salad on the side just but be careful what you do when you are on prep because anything can derail it, just anything. We got a shot here from my man Jeremy. He says, what advice do you have for a up and coming amateur competitor in women's bodybuilding, things they should do and things they shouldn't do?
Okay, so for amateur competitors, I would suggest getting a coach. And when you're gonna, you're trying to decide whether you're gonna hire a coach, see who they've coached, who they've helped. If you don't have your pro card yet, find somebody who has helped athletes get their pro card. I don't care what anybody says. There are different kinds of coaches. Coaches who know how to make a pro athlete, or coaches who only know how to work with pros already, who already have their shit together, who already, have done all the hard work and they just need some fine tuning. I work with both, and to be honest, like Jacoby has made so many pro athletes, and like it sounds bad. Like people I've worked with in the past, not that they're bad coaches, but like once I started working with Jacoby, I felt like he set this standard. Like he raised the bar higher. Where now I'm like, if I don't plan on leaving Jacoby whatsoever, but there ever comes a time where Jacoby's like, hey, I'm not going to coach anymore. I'm going to like do something else in my life, and I'm not having to find somebody else if I'm still bodybuilding. If that time ever comes, like there are all these things that Jacoby does that I don't know other coaches do, because Jacoby like cares about you more than an athlete. He goes above and beyond even when he's sick, and even when he's sick or he has things done, like things to do, he will show up for all of his. I don't know how he does it, but he shows up for all of his athletes somehow, and it's amazing. It's an amazing thing, and like how he conducts himself as a coach and a friend. It sets the standard very high where I don't even think I would be able to fulfill that kind of role or be a coach. I get people asking me to coach them and stuff, and I ask myself, what kind of coach do I want to be? And it's like a coach like Jacoby. And I'm honest with myself, I don't have it in me to be that kind of coach because I have so many things like, children, businesses, and like my own goal of, stepping on an Olympia stage, that it would be a disservice to take someone as a client and try to coach them when I know that the coach I would like to be, if I ever became a coach, would be like Jacoby. Like he gives a lot to himself, where he puts his personal stuff like on hold, like he wants to step back on stage, but he's pushed it off to be there for everybody else who he's helping, step on stage. So that's an important thing that an amateur would need to consider, is who are you going to trust to get you there, and see what they've done for other women, how they've gone, about the protocols. Reach out to the women they've coached, speak with them, get honest feedback from them, not the coach themselves, but from the women that have been coached by that coach, whether it's a female or male, and make your decision there. I would, if you don't have the funds to, hire somebody, I would suggest reaching out to a female competitor. That was something that we've discussed in the women's bodybuilding group that we have going on amongst the pros, is like, we need to be more available to amateurs to, kind of guide them along the way if they don't have any guidance. Because I know I didn't back then. Like when I saw, let's say when I was 20 or something, and I decided to get into bodybuilding, to get to the extreme level, I didn't think that it was possible to reach out to these women, because social media was a little bit more new at the time, and it was like I felt like there was this hierarchy, like it's like amateur here, pro here, stay in your own lane, like they didn't have time for you or something. Where I think that needs to change. Like I think that the younger crowd who aren't pros yet, who want to get there, should feel comfortable to reaching out to us, because we've been there. We've like, especially when I was 20, like this was more niche or taboo, and like it was nothing for me to go out and just have people just staring at me and making rude comments more often than it is now, and or look at you in disgust or things like that. And you always just felt like you didn't belong or out of place, because how people were so comfortable with treating you back then. Now here it's a little bit a little bit more reserved, but you can tell that they still have an opinion about it. And so, like, I think that the women of bodybuilding now should work on being more available to the younger group to mentor them and talk to them, especially when the finances, it's hard for us as pros. Imagine at that level, if they don't have that finance. Like, they need somebody to go to, ask them, get guidance, and it, it's going to be more detrimental to their health if they're jumping in this without any guidance and just getting whatever information online from some forum or some bro, you know?
Yeah. The thing is, it's I think it's like a good idea for start a mentor like a mentorship because especially when you get into sport, you're a young lady, you want to understand the facts of the thing from the business end of it to the training end of it to the mental aspects of it because this sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually and financially draining. It can take a lot of your time and your life, and especially for women because women, this is how I was told the purpose of women, y'all are a bearer of our children, y'all take care of our homes, y'all supposed to be soft and feminine, you ain't supposed to be ripped and huge and got delts and everything. A purpose of men's life is to breed, battle, and die. That's it. We fight wars, we build buildings, we create children, and and we set a foot like my mother father would get up for 55 years, but they were divorced. He That was divorced. They're actually he was living in New Jersey, and we were down here in North Carolina, and I've had to learn from being a man from the other men in my life, my brother, my grandfather, and my uncle, and my mother taught me the things what I need to do as an adult. What I need to do. Like I used to when I was 16, I was holding down on my first job. I used to work in the field for my family and work my first job. By the time I was in my 20s, I had two jobs. I was working at a gas station. I was working at a textile plant. Those things, as we get older, we learn. Also had a job where I worked in a gentleman's club. I like to put that out because it was fun times, not as fun. Sometimes we had issues every now and then, and finding those things that help you in that process, like finding ways to pay for. Like again, we talk about how bodybuilding is fetishized. There's the sites out there that are where bodies women do go because it helps them pay the cost, and that's the purpose. That's the thing is it's like a job, something because bodybuilding is expensive. If there was a way we can get more sponsorship for competitors, more people interested in promoting the shows, like what I Steady Rider doing with her GoFundMe, where she's trying to get money up for because they lost to Tampa, got it back. It happened that last year, and one person stepped in. And anytime I say his name, yo Jake, I want that money, I want that gun. That's Jake Wood. He stepped in and still gave him the platform, but he can't do it all. It's up to you, ladies. You have to fight for yourself. You have to be your advocates. We have here, shout out to my man KL. He says, how do you prepare your tofu? Or fry or stir fry or boiled?
Oh, boiled. Oh no. Okay. So usually if I have a cube tofu, where they sell them in blocks, I usually just cube them, season them, and stick them in the air fryer and let them get a little bit crispy. But I'm a huge fan of Abbott's ABBOT. I think there's two TTS. They do ground beef version. It looks like ground beef. I'm not gonna say it tastes like ground beef because I don't want to upset anybody because it probably don't taste like ground beef. But like, it looks like ground beef. I like that. I just put it on the pan and like I saute it and mix it with whatever vegetables I do eat and top my rice with it or potatoes or what I'm eating in that moment.
Yeah. He also says this. He says, you bake cheesecake. What kind?
I like key lime cheesecake. That's what I make. Key lime cheesecake, and also I have a chocolate one that I do.
Yeah. We have here from my man C Cross One. He says, what does Kelly Larkins think about the state of condition that women's bodybuilding is now?
The condition that it's in, like the troubles we're having with the competitions, removing our categories.
Shows, promotion, everything. What you think? What do you think as a competitor? The state is everything now, like from the shows to promoting, and especially what y'all doing now with the talk and the conversation, the chat.
Um, for the shows, I'm gonna be very blunt about it. I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Them saying that they don't have enough funds or anything like that, that's bullshit. They get a lot of money. They have a lot of sponsors. Just for the series, you and I kind of touched on it, but then I deviated. from it, a sponsorship. The series that I'm doing, like our budget's 40,000. I already have 20,000. Have a sponsor who donated $20,000. There's the money there. People are willing to fucking sponsor. So them saying that they don't have enough money is bullshit. And anybody who believes that lives under a rock. So anyhow, we see the kind of tiers that they have. They're not just getting $500 donations, $1,000. They're getting 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. And like to say that there's no money in women's bodybuilding, and then also the fact that they're saying, oh, women's bodybuilding doesn't draw a crowd. You know, I was speaking with a promoter. I'm not going to name drop him, but you know, he's in the comments. He not in this comments, but in the comment section on Instagram. You know, I was asking politely because like I want to know the ins and outs of things and how people are deciding to do something that affects so many women. And you know, I was asking him how, like, where do you guys get your data to decide that women's bodybuilding isn't bringing any money at the shows? Because when you buy a ticket, it's for prejudging, and that covers, you know, men and women categories. Whatever category that is, you're subjected to watch it or step out into the lobby until they're finished. And then you buy an evening ticket that covers all of those divisions as well. There's not no particular ticket that says I'm only seeing women's bodybuilding, I'm only seeing men's open or men's physique or men's classic. And then he was saying that they just use like this little formula that says that's an estimate. Oh, let's say we have X amount of competitors overall, and this is the amount of tickets that we sold. Women's bodybuilding had the less competitors, so naturally they're going to bring less of a draw. So it's not actual data. It's like their bro science, their bro data. And so like that's what they're going off of, and it's bullshit. You know, because that's very unfair for the women's division. And honestly, and they're saying that women have to they need to do more work on promoting the show. I agree on that end because, you know, when I was in powerlifting, when I signed a contract to compete as a professional for a show, you're competing for one, your ranking, and to be ranked on, you know, against all the other women in that weight division. And then you're competing to win a trophy or a medal and cash. So you have to do your part to promote that event, bring hype. They're using your likeness in return to draw in a crowd through their live streaming and in-person sales tickets. So on the IFBB side, being a professional, I believe that men and women should do their part to hype up that show, you know, and also build their brand, hyping up themselves, because, you know, they're hyping up the show, they're hyping up themselves, and people are gonna feel more inclined to either purchase the live stream or go in person to support this, you know, to support who they've been following for several weeks along their prep. And on the other end, I also think that it's up to the promoters to change how they've been promoting shows and going about it and roll with the times and find better ways to promote their shows instead of just saying, oh, this hasn't been working, we have to cut it. Find a way to be more, I guess, I don't want to say modern, but
more proactive.
More proactive, yes. I just feel like it's laziness on their end, but also I think that some of these shows that are choosing to cut it out, the promoters, like I've seen their comments telling other women, oh, like just tone down and go into women's physique. Well, what if you take out women's physique? Then the tone down again, go figure. What about figure? Like the Arnold did it. They cut out women's bodybuilding, cut out physique, cut out figure and fitness. And now it's what?
Well, fitness is still there.
Fitness? Oh, I thought he cut out fitness.
No, it's still there. It's still now. You know, this year most definitely gonna bring in fit models. Excuse me, and you know, but the thing is, I think also the ladies have to show up because you know, the New York only had 3 people: Chelsea, Lena Patak, and also Nana Capsodo. Shows like even on the Atlanta show where they had 4 women. You know, you had 3 doing women's open, and then you had 3 doing the Masters part. Also, ladies have to show up and show out. I understand the cost of what bodybuilding is and everything like that, but it's about the numbers. If physique can have 10 to 15 women at a show and show up and show out, then the women have to do the same thing. I know it takes a lot more from them to build the muscle with conditioning, but some of the physique competitors, they come in droves. Like I was when I was in Tampa, there was at least maybe 10 or more, and then you had to open because with the Atlanta show, with Tampa show, they did have like women's physique, and I think it was wellness, and that on that Friday. I went. Eunice, she competed at the Masters. I went because their support there. They did that all together because Masters you got to pay to play. And then, the next day they had the men's open, and there was, I even saw Derek Lungford there. He was there. He was at the booth hanging out and talking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I know he was that short. That's a short dude. But,
Most
but
of
the,
them are short. It's
yeah,
rarely across a guy who's like 5'8" or 5'10".
yeah. I think Samson's probably the biggest. I think he's at least about 6'6".
Dang. I've never seen Samson in person. Huh.
Yeah, I've seen Derek, I'm about 5'7", so he's at least about five
I
six.
saw Martin like Fitzwater like about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. He's actually taller than me. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like he's actually tall. Yeah. Because he
Yeah.
and I have the same chiropractor.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing is that it's just that the women have to put in the work, have to be there, and also have to find people who want to promote. And there's guys out there, but the thing is, it's about the money. Also, they want to get a return out of it. And this is I always say this about the men's division. When it comes to men's open, it's the bottom bitch. If you know the pimping game, the bottom bitch makes the money for the daddy. That's the pimping. That's the opponents of the pimps. They want to make the money. The mains want to make the money too. And that's why you see guys like Derek Lumford walks away with this almost he makes $1 million a year or more, while Andrea might even barely touch 100,000. And I think she should be. I'm not saying she get the same amount as Derek, but at least 100,000 for Miss Olympia. She was getting good chunk of change with Rise Phoenix, but they cut the money down and changed it. Now it's an open show because it used to be invitation. We have here a lot of guests here.
This year they're turning it back to invitation. That's the women were talking about it, and Andrea confirmed that it's going to be invitation again this year.
Yeah. But the thing is, if it stayed an open show, that means you have more women who can get their pro card, who can get the Olympic qualification. Because if you make it an invitation, you have women who already got their qualification, and then you have the champion in it, and all maybe the top two in the at the Olympia. So that means that cuts out a possibility of somebody because a young lady, she made her pro debut at the show, Amanda Santos. She got her qualification, but she didn't use it because she took a step back. She didn't know the show after that. That was the Grand Prix. She should have skipped that show. Natalia Kovalev did it. She got a qualification. You still supposed to be a qualification show, but then when you have a bunch of women who already qualified and you have the champ and at least two of the top competitors in it, it's not a show that gets you to the Olympia anymore. That's why I think it was a good idea when we made it an open show, but then taking the money and things like that. But it's no Jake is moving on; he's focused on the Olympia now. But still trying to keep that show going. I don't think he needs to be back to the invitation because we do need a show to give more competitors. I think just try to cut down the numbers for women bodybuilders opportunities. We have here. Shout out to my man here, C Cross. He says the Triple O Dynasty is the first women's bodybuilding show. Is Kelly planning on doing that show? Well, you know what? You want to tell me who you want, or should I?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, Kelly is going to do the Atlanta Pro, which is the Linda Murray show. I have my oldest niece live in Atlanta. I went to visit her for Thanksgiving. I don't know. I might think about that because I got family down the way. I could probably sit with her. I could go check it out. I'm thinking about that. But that's the thing is that's really, like I say, 6 months out, and most competitors would like to take a year or more.
Yeah, I wanted to do the triple O, but my coach and I were talking about it. I just did December and I was on a 20-week prep. And that's not a lot of time for me, like to do the health phase and go back to a place where I'm good again to prep and to let my body rest a bit. So like the smart thing to do for myself and my health was do Atlanta instead of triple O.
That's smart. Or also, you want to do another show. If it doesn't make an invitation anymore, you can always do Rising. There's also the Steve Carr show. There was the Grand Prix, but we lost that show because he trained for exchange for bringing back Tampa. They had to give up the Grand Prix, Titan Grand Prix. My dear friend Tina Williams did that show a couple of times. Also, there's Natalia has announced there's going to be a new show in Brazil at women's bodybuilding. To it. It's a show that's already been there, but yeah, it's in Brazil. But they're gonna, I don't know if you have a passport or not. Maybe so you might check out. We have here, my man Ka says, fit model hater. Yes, I'm my man Sicky Johnson, my other personality. I hate talk, hate no more. Call me a play hater. And also, this is from my man C Cross says, fit model is trash. I'm sorry. No, brother, don't have to apologize. You don't need to apologize. We know it is. And also, this is from my man Jeremy says, Seacross, I believe her debut is going to be Yolanda. Yeah, I appreciate that. And this is from a man says, stop hating. Nah, I can't stop hating. Like I said again, I can't be a congratulator or a play hater. I can be both. So and also we have here, which is from my man here. He says this. He says, but it ain't nothing you or nobody can or do about it, but say it how trash it is. Yes, it's my right to say that. So whatever. Who cares? So he's more a fan of women muscle. He's the type of guy to get along, get along. I'm not, because I'm Scorpio. I have hey, I go wild. But so we're not gonna hold Kelli too much longer. A couple questions I'm gonna ask you. Like, what do you feel is your best physical aspect, especially when you as a competitor, when you look yourself in the mirror, what do you feel like the thing that really like most is impressive when you see yourself?
When I see myself? Oh,
Yes.
that's tough. Whenever I look at myself, I'm like, I need to build that up. I need that. I need everything. Everything. I would say my chest and my back, like I'm happy with them because they were my back was like an issue for many years for myself. Like I'm like, why can't it grow? Or like I know that sounds weird because I'm very broad, but my lats were not like flaring as much as I'd like them to be. So, but I think that finally this past year working with Justin, that I've been bringing that up, and also from the front, like my front double and lat spread, like my lats didn't appear to be as big, but they're improving now. You can see them from the front better in that pose. So I think those two things are things I'm proud of because like I've worked very very freaking hard on me bringing those up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was the question from the judges when they told you need to work on overall?
I didn't get to speak with them. Myself and a few of the girls were backstage waiting to speak with the judges, but the line was so long and they were just people not getting feedback, just chatting with the judges and taking a long time that it was like, you know what? We've been here 30, 40 minutes. I don't think it's ever going to happen. So we just left. Yeah. So I didn't get feedback from them at nationals.
Yeah, I think some people don't always get feedback from the judges because they feel like they know what they need to do. And I know Justice knows how to work with you. Like when you're in the gym, what's that one thing you love about working out, and that one thing you say, shit, I don't want to do this.
That one thing I love about working out, honestly, I like when things are challenging. I'm just like, oh shit, that shouldn't have been harder than it was, but it was. Like I like that. It sounds bad, but that's the part I enjoy about in bodybuilding, the training side, because it gives me yet another goal to chase after. To be like I like overcoming obstacles. That is what keeps me going. Like so, that's the part I love about training. I don't like when things are all easy.
Yeah. That thing is, everybody has this thing about training, be it working on this part of your body or that part of your body, the development improvement process of bodybuilding. That's one thing that a lot of people have to work with when it gets to sport, understanding all the aspects. Again, like this, not just, understand the process, but trusting the process and then figuring out what you need to work on. We have here, this is from man Charles Offer. He says this, he says, she's good looking woman. Yeah, he says, very attractive. I tell you again, I give a new girl in here, Kelli, they're like, hey, she's fine motherfucker, yeah, hot. So anyway, we have one more here. We're about to finish up. And we have here from my man. What do you think about the controversy with Girls with Muscles website that blew up on social media? You been paying attention to that lately?
I don't pay attention to it. It's a free site, as we talked about, and they're reposting images that we post on Instagram. And usually that the legality of that is kind of like it's public images at that point. If they're charging it and not giving back to the athletes, that part I would have a say about. But if they're not charging to view these photos, I just see it as an archive of strong women. I have no opinion other than that. Like I'm not gonna waste energy on it.
Yeah, because I know I use that site. Go to the site when I want to get pictures and post stuff like that. And it's something that helps, especially for us fans of you ladies. So we're gonna finish up this one last question. What would you want for yourself as a bodybuilder towards your future?
For myself as a bodybuilder towards my future, One, I would like to qualify for the Olympia. That's my number one goal is stepping on that stage. Um, and once I hit that goal, the next goal would be, to place first call outs. And then if I get first call outs, once I get first call outs is to eventually, my goal, I'm always tailoring my goal after I meet all these little, these other little milestones that I have for myself. But that's what I see in my future. Like I want to step on the Olympic stage by next year.
Mhm. Yeah, and also if anybody's interested, as I said again, if you want to check her out, you can go to her social media links in the description. And also, if you're interested in her, she has a GoFundMe, and I said the GoFundMe is right here. If you want to check it out, it's also in the comment section. You want to donate to her, working on her plan for her documentary and support her in that. Reach out with your interest, guys. But guys, I don't want these weird guys saying, "Hey, Kelly, I seen your last interview. You look kind of cute. You think I'll do a favor for you? You do a favor for me? No, you sick freak. Stop it, you. This is what you do to a lady like this. Say, Mrs. Larkins, we are interested in your plan and your plan for a documentary and what you want to do. We are also would like to promote and help your documentary and also you as a competitor. So if you feel like, madam, this is something you might be interested in and it might be helping your process, please let us know. And if it's our product, it's something you think you can use in your process of bodybuilding and also in your plans, we will be happy to help you because we want to see you grow into advance as an athlete. So, madam, let us know and we set up circumstances and make sure things are working in order.
Thank you so much. I wanted to highlight on the, sponsoring the series. People always think it's monetarily sponsoring, but we are accepting various sorts of sponsors. Like I have a suit sponsor is going to be donating suits for the women. Any other services, whether they're podcasts, YouTube channels who have a significant following, I'm willing to work with that as a form of sponsorship, like giving us more, sharing our brand, our message across various social media. That's also a form of sponsorship in my eyes, and I'm willing to work with anybody on any budget.
Yeah, and also if you can, you can also go to a lot of. There's a lot of not just bodybuilding podcasts. There's podcasters do sports. Podcasters that like guys like, hey, if you ever go to New York, Charlamagne the Guard or Joe Rogan, or there's quite a few the people out there. You just got to put yourself out there. That's the same thing with women bodybuilders. You got to put yourself out there.
Out
No
there,
one knows
yes,
who you are unless someone. I know who Andrea Shaw is, but no one else does. And you get
exactly.
yeah. You
Mhm.
get to really not be afraid because I think some people are afraid about getting turned down. You're gonna get a few. You're gonna get quite a few no's, but you're gonna get some
Yeah, you
yeses.
could. Like I've reached out to so many sponsors that they've either didn't acknowledge me or acknowledge me, but like, oh, I'll get back to you. And it's like, you don't take it personal. There are so many other people who are seeking sponsorships, and there's a specific look, I guess, sponsors are looking for. And if you're not it, you're not it. But I tell this to my children and also like some of my friends, like nobody's gonna know you exist and what you have to offer if you don't put yourself out there. They're not gonna
Yeah,
magically find you like, oh, like I think this person exists. Oh, Kelly exists online. I'm gonna go search. Like nobody knows I exist unless I put myself out there. I think that's something a lot of women need to think of in women's bodybuilding. It's like they I know it's a lot of us are very introverted, but we kind of have to like learn to step out of that shell and just put ourselves out there online and be more friendly and like make more content.
yeah. You have to get on your own way. That's what I'm want to do in this content. I have to get on my own way. When I went to Tampa, I went to Savannah. I had to get on my.
Mhm.
When I plan to go on this trip this year, I had to learn to get on my own way and stop using my own fears or paranoias and realize that there's the world out there much bigger than what I know in my life. But ma'am, like I said, I appreciate your time. You have anybody want to shout out before we let you go?
A shout out me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like me?
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna say to my coach, I'm gonna say to Unis, Bad Rap, and also all the female bodybuilding channels, YouTube's podcasts that is promoting our sport and also like behind us and trying, who are also upset about what the promoters are doing to our division and trying to advocate for us. I shout out to everyone on that end.
Well, no problem, man. I'm happy to be one of those people that do that in my part as much as I can with what I have. I'm on a small channel, but I'm still want to be. I still get doing this content helped me when I take care of my mom, and this gives me a purpose now that she's gone. And reach out to women like yourself and other ladies, and many of them, and talking to them, sharing their stories. And like I said, you guys here in here, guys, if you want, you can follow the links in the description of this live. If you are someone who also knows, maybe like if you if you have competitors who want to do a show, you can set up with Airbnb. You don't have to pay. Just have a place you can stay. If you are someone who runs a gym, you can come in and work out in free. You don't have to pay for a year or so. Those little things help in the process of meeting these
Mhm.
competitors. Reach out and generate interest. Don't be that weird guy. Don't be that guy saying, hey, and also, just respect what these women do. This is their passion, and it's not a very profitable passion. You just got to really love what you're doing. Before I let you go, he has to say something. And Kelly, I want to tell you again, you are beautiful. I'm just a Kelly. I'm just a dog chasing cars. I don't know when I get one. I'm sorry about him. I'm trying to see a specialist about him, but I know he's just dominant personality. Shout out to my man Charles. He gives a thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. So, folks, we're not gonna hold Mr. Larkin for too much longer. I want to thank my brothers came through. KL the Wanderer, Def Jeff, so DJ Jeff, Jeremy from the Art of Female Bodybuilding, Last Man Standing, C Cross, Charles, Gus, all you guys who are in here, people who comment, subscribe, follow Kelly. Also, reach out with her for a plan. Once we know about when the documentary is set up, that's one thing. Enough people watch it and talk about it and share it and get it out there. And maybe also it might help women's bodybuilding in the long run. You just need people who are willing and want to help. You got to be willing and wanting to help. Well, ma'am, I appreciate your time. Wish you all best of luck.
Thank you. Take care.
The quote by great hero, Dark Knight, you never have to. Anyway, folks, he's man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good luck, good night, God bless, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.